Hello, dear friends. I'm Michaela. Welcome to my channel for astrology, Today Energy. In this video, we will discuss a beautiful astrological event that will happen on the 12th of April, and that's the magical conjunction between the planets Neptune and Jupiter. They will conjunct in the 23rd degree of Pisces. Yes, the precise conjunction happens on the 12th of April, but because we're talking about a bit slower planets, well, Jupiter is like mid-speed and Neptune is an outer, very slow planet. So we feel already the energy of this astrological event, I would say from the beginning of March, and we will be in this mood, in these energies, up to the mid-May, when Jupiter will leave Pisces and move into Aries. Now let's talk a little bit about the main players here. We have Neptune, we have Jupiter, and we have the sign of Pisces. Now the wonderful thing is that Jupiter is the ancient classical ruler of Pisces, and Neptune became the modern ruler of this sign after its discovery. Well, Neptune was the Roman god of seas and rivers and waters overall. Neptune in astrology rules several things and professions and topics. We can start with liquids. So water, oceans, sea, pipes at home, let's say, and the water, tap water we have, but also alcohol and beverages. At the same time, Neptune rules as well the gas and natural gas and natural resources like petrol, for example. As well gasoline, right? Neptune rules arts, and we talk about mostly visual arts like photography, like movies, cinema, but also theater, as well as poetry, as well as music, dancing, so artistic self-expression. Neptune rules medias. And as well, like medias, as well as our own dreams, the state of dreaming, our fantasies, our illusions sometimes too, our conscious and subconscious, and our spirituality. That's why whenever on the sky there is an event involving Neptune, it's a great time to pray, to meditate, to visualize, to make yourself this board of wishes, right? To write down wishes in your diary, to make any sort of spiritual and psychological practices. Neptune rules places of isolation, so that could be an island in a sea, right? Or some country, island country, like Japan, for example. It can be as well a hospital. Neptune rules hospitals, foster houses, prisons as well. But also it can rule simply home office for some people, or being alone in a nature. Because yes, Neptune rules Pisces, and Pisces rule the 12th house in astrology. 12th house is the last one before the first house, which speaks the first house about birth, about new life, new beginning, and the beginning of the journey of the soul of the hero, right? And with 12th house, then it's about the endings, but also it's about purging, cleaning, and it's the place of the chart of the horoscope that contains pieces of all the rest of the houses. So it's so much, and at the same time it's all unity in one. It's about the past, and it's about isolation, you know, like it's before giving birth. 12th house would be like the state of, or a place of this pregnant lady being in a hospital, preparing to give birth, the baby being in a womb, preparing to go out in the world. But so far, it's just quiet stillness in a dark, isolated place, in a sense, right? Yeah, Neptune, Pisces rule unity, no borders, no division between life beings. Neptune, unfortunately, rules diseases and sickness, especially something from cold and moist wetness. So that could be flu or being cold, or just having low immune system. At the same time, Neptune rules medical system as well, and medicine and pharmaceutic business, hence. On the other hand, as we talked about subconsciousness and illusions and dreams, Neptune also rules drugs that change our perceptions, and also virtual reality. Neptune was discovered in 1846. Its orbit is 165 years, so it takes 165 years to go through all the 12 zodiac signs, hence it spends 14 years in one sign. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the chart, and so it spends 1 year in each sign. Jupiter is the biggest body planet in the solar system, so he rules expansion, going big, going all in, not knowing stops, not knowing breaks, not knowing boundaries and borders. Jupiter gives us always hope and optimism. Jupiter rules education, especially higher education, and any sort of acquiring knowledge. Jupiter is wisdom. Jupiter is exploration and travel, because this is one more way to expand yourself, to expand your consciousness, to expand your knowledge. So Jupiter is about foreign lands. It's about a world without borders. It's about curiosity. And the other face of Jupiter is the justice, the honesty. That's why Jupiter rules the courts and lawyers and judges and this law overall and juridical system. So Jupiter and Jupiter and Neptune meet every 13 years. All right, fair enough. But in Pisces, they meet once in 166 years. So how lucky we are, me and you now, to witness this beautiful conjunction of the two rulers of Pisces in their own dominion, in their own house. So the last time they met in Pisces was in March 1856. And because astrology is not only about intuition and, getting some insights from the space, from the universe, but it's about studying, it's about observing the cycles in the cosmos, in the universe, and the reflection here on Earth, on the society, on people. Let's see what happened, or what were the main topics around 1856. Because it's very likely that something similar would play out as well now in 2022. So, for example, the first color photography was, or color picture, photograph picture, was invented and created in 1856. So that's amazing, because it's literally the Neptune field, right? The visual art. Then there were unfortunately big floods in Europe and mostly in France, because Jupiter, big, and Neptune, water. We had the movement against slavery in the United States that eventually brought to the outbreak, of course, of the Civil War. But here we have this altruistic, philanthropic, compassionate energy of Neptune, and seeking fairness and justice of Jupiter. There was a huge boom, I would say, of using opium, especially in UK, in England. They were crazy about opium, which is, well, depends on the amount and dosage, of course, but it can be a medicine relieving pain, right? It's again something about Neptune, but at the same time, it's a drug that alters your state of mind. And a huge wave of spiritualism, of hypnotic gatherings, and big interest in the paranormal activity, because remember, 12th house, Neptune, Pisces, it's about unity between people, between all creatures and beings on earth, but also in the astral space, you know, souls, soul right now and my previous reincarnations, it's all together. And I completely understand this huge interest in other worlds and our connection to the ghosts, let's say, and other beings around that time. It was a big year for the illusionist Houdini, the famous illusionist Houdini, who is considered the father of the modern magic. So here we have also a bit of a magic. Now, what we could expect, and I think what we see already, is dissolution and alleviation of this harsh rules and restrictions that we've been living through already for about, what, 2 to 3 years, right? And also, we are now living in a world that opens its borders for people who need support and need help. And of course, I'm referring to the war happening currently in Ukraine. I'm half Ukrainian. My mother is from Kiev, so I'm very anxious, of course, about everything happening there, but we already see these people. I think more than 1,200,000 refugees from Ukraine are seeking help and new home at the moment in several European states, mostly Europe. So you see, that's the energy of Pisces: no borders, and compassion towards the other, and yeah, opening of your mentality, as well as of your home doors, right, to help the others. So Pisces itself, Pisces is a water and mutable sign. So water is about emotions, feelings. Often it talks about the past, memories, nostalgia. And mutable signs are the ones that close a season. So cardinal signs usually start a new season. So they're the pioneers. They bring change, right? Then we have the fixed signs in order. The fixed signs are holding, developing, and manifesting with consistent effort. But then everything comes to an end, and we have the mutable signs like Pisces, like Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini. And so they're flexible and they're ready to let go and to meet the new life coming. That's why mutable signs don't like borders, limitations, rules. As in outside world, as well as in our mind. They are against this stiffness, against rigidness, against stinginess, in a sense. Very philanthropic, very much Pisces are about endings and cleansing and releasing and letting go. It's about spirituality, mysticism, compassion, care about others. charity as well, unconditional, as Pisces don't like borders, they don't like conditions as well. So unconditional love, faith, and hope. You know, like Jupiter does rule religion, organized religion, you know, spiritual leaders, gurus, in a sense, like cardinals, the Pope, for example, right? Teachers. But Neptune faith does not need structure or proof. Neptune just like, and Pisces, right? They just swim with the current and they just trust because it's an internal feeling. According to Neptune, according to Pisces, like everything is possible, everything is in the realm of possibilities. So also miracles are real, miracles are very much possible if we do have this unconditional faith. And of course, the belief, the solid inner belief that we're all one, me, you, like all the people living in this world, and we are one with God, right? Because yeah, there is this saying that we're all made of stardust, and probably people with Virgo energy predominantly would take the microscope and would definitely examine it and prove that something in our DNA or composition is same as the composition of some stars in the universe. But again, like Pisces, they just trust this, right? That we're all one with God and that we just have this divine sparkle inside of us. Of course, we must mention some negative sides or qualities of Jupiter. So there is being full of oneself, right? Know it all. Like, I think I know the best and the truth is only my truth, and I will teach anyone else my truth. And that's this dogma, the dogmatism, right? That's when the religious leader, the teacher, the guru becomes autocrat and dictator because he knows only his truth and his way. The negative manifestations, let's say, of Neptunian energy are lie, illusions. It's like frauds, scams, it's viruses, it's illness, it's the tendency to procrastinate or to just escape from the harsh realities and responsibilities of the world. So escapism, that could be through alcohol, through drugs, unfortunately. It's the altered state of mind. And as well, Neptune, 12th house. It's a very kind of hidden, internal, passive energy, right? Able to just adapt and go with the flow. But sometimes we talk about, even when we mention that Neptune rules art and creativity, and we mentioned movie industry, but also theater and play. Why? Because by being very adaptive, the Pisces, they can also change their appearance and face masks in the society to kind of fit the current, the environment, right? And in theater, it's great, it's acting. But in psychology, that means the roles our psyche plays to adapt to situations. And so there are three roles that are very much connected to each other, like in a triangle. And those are the role of a victim, of a savior, and of the aggressor. So the victim, of course, it's understandable. Sometimes we are victims of some people or circumstances, even mostly in our childhood. Then we might become a savior, which is beautiful, right? So we see other people in similar situations. We feel compassion. We want to help and save them. But unfortunately, often the circle closes, or the triangle. And the same person who took the role of victim and then of savior, then unfortunately takes the third role of the attacking person, of the bully, of the aggressor. And yeah, so we should be very careful not to basically take any of these roles and get carried away with them. As well, I want to show you the card, Major Arcana from Tarot, number 12. We have the Hanged Man, and many times the interpretation of this card, which corresponds to 12th house in astrology, Pisces and Neptune, many times it's like the interpretation is being stuck, not many things are happening, you have to have patience, right? You maybe are a victim of some situation, you're hanging basically upside down, but hey, that can be changed. The interpretation can be, well, I hanged myself. Actually, this is a person who has free hands, free leg, only one leg is tied to a tree, and he basically hangs and he looks at the world from a different perspective. So maybe that's okay. Maybe you put yourself in such situation, and here we talk about kind of martyrhood, right? Be a martyr, to be a victim. But when you sacrifice something consciously, so you're very well aware of something happening and you consciously do some sacrifice to gain something else. For example, the Nordic god Odin, he sacrificed himself. He put himself on a tree, head down, and he was meditating. So in a couple of days, he discovered the runes, right? The writing, the scripture of the ancient Nordic people. So he did a sacrifice to get something in return, and he was well aware of it. So he was not playing the victim, right? And at the same time, this number 12 arcana is teaching us this lesson. Okay, you might choose it, maybe you didn't choose it, and you appeared in a not very comfortable situation for you, and maybe right now you can't do much, right? You're not a cardinal energy to start a new thing. You're mutable, you're finishing stuff, and you adapt to the situation, but do the best of it. So while you hang, just look at the world from different perspective, right? Neptune, Pisces give this flexibility. And so talking about this, it's very important to know that when Neptune in Pisces is triggered by a bit faster Jupiter, yeah, and they join together around the 12th of April, the veil becomes very thin between the worlds, between people, between our emotions, energetic field, consciousness, right, spiritual parts. So we all become one, like this huge deep ocean. And this can be as positive as negative as well, because we might be very sensitive to others and collective feelings. So if there is grief, if there is war, we do feel it. And again, it's up to us if we allow it to become a grief and desperation and depression, or we rather choose to be a volunteer and to do charity and to actively somehow help, right? As well, we must choose to stick to more positive, more maybe grounded, stable, optimistic people. So we exchange, because it's very easy now to exchange energy. So it's better to exchange positive energy, right? Rather than being sucked out by maybe not so kind of well meant people towards us, right? And so talking about this, Neptune clearly gives possibility of manipulations, right? As we talked about, through media, through drugs, through movies, illusions, distorted reality. So why not to, again, turn it in our favor and make this as auto manipulation, this NLP, right? You know about this technique, like hypnotizing ourselves on purpose, positively, with meditation, with prayers, with affirmations, with setting intentions. Because remember, wherever our thoughts go, there our energy goes too. So if we think negatively, then energy goes towards this polarity, and it's most probably that it would also manifest in our life, this aspect, right? So we have the power over our thinking. at least somehow. There's so many techniques that you can use. In 2020, when it was the beginning of the pandemic, a very harsh situation, a lot of fear for all the world, anxiety. I was abroad, I was away from my family, alone. So the best I could do was to dedicate myself to studies. And so I subscribed to Coursera, you know, this website, which is full of beautiful free courses of different universities in the world. And I took the Yale University course, The Science of Well-Being. So it was super on point, super practical, with a lot of practical studies, examination, and solution given to us to release or lower down at least fear and anxiety and depression, and get closer to proper psychological balance and well-being. And for example, one of them was to write a gratitude diary every evening, every night before going to bed. Just write down 1, 3, 5, 10 things you are grateful for. And sometimes you might think that, oh, there is nothing today happened that made me happy, or I'm not grateful for anything. Well, there is always. First thing first, you are alive. You can write down what you are about to write down. You have a roof over your head, most probably. You have internet, so you heard this advice through internet. You have book, you have knowledge, you have food, you have clothes, right? You are with your family, or you are with your pet who gives you love. So trust me, there is always something to find out, to be grateful for, whether to God, to universe, to yourself, or to others. And especially it helps to our psyche to express our gratitude to others and make it like mutual, you know. That's amazing, really. And it's not just talk, it's not just a positive thinking, law of attraction stuff. It really works. It's proven by science, which I like very much. And so talking about this, how to hypnotize yourself with this, really try to think positively, try to be grateful, because now really there are no limits for your imagination, for your wishes, for your intentions. So set the right vibe of yourself, the right vibration. Focus your thoughts on the things you wish for, the beautiful things. Even thinking about them makes you a pinch more happy, right? And the more you focus your thoughts on this, things you want, the more chance that they will actually become reality and manifest. But do act like Pisces. Let go of the control and expectations. Trust in the divine timing. I can recommend you, I have a video on my channel representing you the beautiful cards, motivational cards made by Gabby Bernstein. You know her most probably. I think a beautiful, strong Scorpio lady. And of course, she wrote many books, but then she also made amazing cards, little piece of art, in my opinion, beautiful painting. And on each card, you have like some quintessences or some thoughts from her books. And the books are about love, self-love, love to the universe, trust to the universe, positive thinking, positive attitude, faith, basically. We all know it. It's just beautiful when someone can, or something like a little cute card with a message on it, can remind you to relax, to let go, to have joy and faith, right? So all stuff like this motivational affirmation cards can help very much now. Pisces want us to relax, to let go, to forgive, very important, to accept and trust and forgive ourselves on the very first, as a very first step, and then forgive parents, family, something happening from the past. So it's amazing time to do regressions, to do constellations, work with your past, with your family, with therapist, with psychologist, to dig out the pain and let the water wash it away. But first you have to dig it out. You have to experience this catharsis. And yeah, the Greek people named it in their theater plays. When you watch a movie, when you watch a theater, and at one point you cry, you maybe shout, you are upset or you're scared, but then you feel better, right? It's a release. It's a relief. So that's what you can do as well, of course, carefully and guided by spiritual wise advisors. And definitely forgiveness. Pisces is the energy of Christ, right? Maybe Jesus Christ was Pisces as a zodiac sign. Also, we believe he lived in the era of Pisces back then. Unconditional love and support for others, and acceptance of yourself and of others as well. Like, you know, having the faith that we are all part of the divine. Another, metaphorically speaking, we can say that right now it's all about the water, it's all about ocean. It's very deep, so you can dive as deep as you want, and you must trust the currents, the waves of the ocean. So it's never only up, it's never only down, it's all rhythmic. So catch the rhythm of the ocean, of life, of the universe, and just let go and trust it. Topics in the world that could be very much emphasized by this conjunction in April: oceans, water, ecology, so cleaning the oceans, compassion and taking care of animals, planet, our planet, people, of course, people, refugees, helping them, helping the people in need. Sharp intuition, messages from the universe, messages from the collective unconscious, dreams, fantasies, right? Many people would discover in ourselves some mediumship possibilities and like esoteric spiritual skills. Unfortunately, financially talking, there can be inflation, so pumping up the prices, especially prices of gas, natural gas, of this liquid burning sources of energy, right? Like petrol, for example. Emphasis on prisons, on shelters, asylums, institutions for mentally discapacitated people, or physically as well, hospitals, medical system, emphasis on medical system as well. Viruses too can be closely observed. Generally, taking care of our emotional and mental and spiritual well-being. Professions enhanced currently by this conjunction: sailors, healers, Reiki, aromatherapy healers, people who work in spa, masseurs, doctors, spiritual leaders, people who do chemistry, who do ecology, who work in media, social medias, commercials, movie industry, theaters, people who fight for human rights, for justice, for laws, governmental structures as well. Jupiter rules the governing elite. Teachers, writers, painters. Last thing I want to mention, well, two things actually. First, Jupiter tends to give natural optimism, but depends on the Neptune, because Neptune might give melancholy, tiredness, fatigue, right? Sometimes depression. Sometimes people would tend to grab alcohol or drugs to kind of kill this pain, right? So it's always better to turn towards art, creativity, nature, spirituality, or being helpful to others who are in need, rather to turn towards these lower manifestations of the energy. And second thing, especially for people who want to quit some bad habit, like drinking or like smoking. I was a smoker for bigger or half of my life. And I managed to quit smoking once. Then I unfortunately returned back to this habit. And then last year I quit for the second time, and I hope it's forever now. But both times when I was quitting, I was listening an audiobook. You can find it, of course, as a normal classical book of Mr. Alan Carr from England. He passed away already, but his book is called Easy Way to Stop Smoking. And trust me, it was truly easy, like as the first time, as well as the second time. Amazingly enough, because I was really many years smoking, but it helped me like magic. So I'm sure there is some NLP involved in this book. It's so relaxed, it's so chill out. While you read it or you listen to it, the author tells you, well, keep on smoking while you read my book, okay? But I promise you, with the very last page, you will quit because you want it, not because I told you or the doctors told you and scared you from cancer and whatnot. So basically, it's my personal recommendation. Now your mind is so opened to everything. So it's up to you what seeds you will put in it and what you will believe in. So believe in yourself, trust in yourself, have faith in yourself. And remember, Pisces is about letting go, ending some closures, some endings, hopefully of things that are rather a burden for you. And one of them could be this nasty killing habits, like overeating, overindulgence, sugar, and so on, whatever is bothering you and you understand it. So now these planets can really help you to easily let go. And this book, Easy Way to Stop Smoking, it's really miracles are happening, really. I have no explanation, but it worked for me. So dear friends, now I would like to mention a couple of words about each zodiac sign, what you could expect, particularly you, from this conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune. Listen the information for your rising sign, sun sign, and moon sign. Together, they'll give you great picture overview of what to expect. So Aries, for you, that's 12th house. And for you, that's releasing, letting go, forgiving, quitting bad habits. For you also, it can be going abroad, going overseas to some exotic countries, or let's say home office, working and being in isolation, whether, of course, in some kind of a hospital, for instance, hopefully something positive, maybe giving a birth, or just being mostly in a nature or in some temple, ashram, doing some spiritual work. You have to do some beautiful psychological or spiritual work, and you'll have amazing breakthroughs to let go of things and release things that, especially internal wounds and pains. A Taurus, for you, this is 11th house of friendships and social groups, contacts, like-minded people, organizations. So you can expect widening of your contacts, friendships, finding people who have same aspirations as you, joining some clubs, some groups, some groups of people that work together. It's 11th house is about volunteering, so it's a great idea to volunteer somehow. You'll find many friends in such places. And 11th house is our long-term goals and hopes and dreams. So dream big, Taurus, and I'm sure your most desired dreams will come true. Gemini, it's your 10th house of career and success. So also dream big, sky is the limit. You can achieve really high positions. You can let go of the work you don't like. You can find your true life mission and life purpose. And 10th house is also status. So status can be marrying, divorcing if it was a burdensome, terrible marriage, and now you will feel more free. It's about giving a birth, having a child, having a grandchild, relocation. So big things are coming for you, Gemini. Just have faith and dream big. Cancer, ninth house for you, it's the house ruled by Jupiter. So we talk about education, getting degree, getting certificate, getting knowledge, whether through courses, through university, through traveling. Really, Cancer, pack your suitcase, backpack, go for a journey. You will meet wonderful people. It will expand your consciousness, your mind, your horizons. You can become an expert, you can become popular, ninth house, you can become guru for others, or a teacher, you can publish something. So just don't be shy, really dream big. Ninth house is second marriages, grandchildren, so maybe that will be the happiness in your life. Leo, eighth house, crisis situations that help us transform. So now it's very possible that you overcome crisis situations, that you overcome psychological traumas, fears, pains, blockages. Maybe you find the best psychologist for you. Maybe you start being interested in esoteric knowledge that helps you completely being reborn, you know, like burn to ashes and be born as a new, stronger, wiser person. Eighth house is our intimate relationship. So maybe you finally find this special other who become like your most trusted person, and you for them. And eighth house is about pregnancy and conceiving. So maybe for some Leos, that's the big news in your life. And eighth house are passive resources, finances that we get from like help, supports, scholarships, alimony, investments, partner finances, family finances. So some breakthroughs in these areas, presents, maybe even just simply beautiful, big, maybe expensive presents. Virgo, for you, it's seventh house. So if you have been dreaming about the perfect partner, you can find this person, you can meet. It's about engagements, it's about marriages. Divorce as well could be, but only if it's like a liberation for you finally, and you wished for it. All sorts of deals with others, clients. If you work with clients, that will bring you a lot of clientele. Expand your clientele, expand your contacts, for business maybe as well, business contacts, and signing contracts as well. Just be careful because, you know, Virgo, you can always use your discriminating mind and get into the details. So, you know, pink glasses are great now, and optimism and hope and expansion, but always keep your cool head too and double check the information. Libra, for you, it's sixth house of work and health. So maybe big working projects, maybe expanding of your working space, new colleagues, new employees, helping people in your life may become like someone to help with your household or your children. Sixth house is our pets, so maybe you get a lovely new friend for yourself, a pet. And of course, health. So be careful, because not to over expand your eating habits. Quite the opposite. You can find the perfect diet for you, exercise, regime. Yeah, arrange your daily life the way it's pleasant for you and brings you joy and it's helpful. Sixth house is, talks about repairments, how we fix situations, help solve problems. So you will find the people who will help you, or you will help others. Sixth house is about karma, karmic serving. So also you can do some volunteer projects, and it's kind of, yeah, get some good points for your karmic bank. piggy bank, and you will definitely solve any problematic situations you have had recently. Scorpios, fifth house, expansion in love, in creativity, inspiration, hobbies. If you didn't feel particularly joyful and inspired, now you can find the spark in your life. Fifth house is about children, so maybe something great is going on in their life, or you get a news of pregnancy. It's about romantic partners and people we love. So maybe you meet this new blossoming love in your life. And business, fifth house is also when our hobby becomes our business. So maybe big gains from an expansion of your business, and as well creative projects and hobby. Sagittarius, fourth house, home, family expansion, living place expansion. Maybe you buy additional property, or you expand the existing one, or new member of a family appears. You know, someone gets married, or someone gets a child. Good news from your parents, and good news maybe from your past, or about relocation, residency, and yeah, things related to place of living and property. Capricorn, for you, it's third house. It's about communication, a lot of knowledge, a lot of information comes back and forward. If you have a blog in internet or social media, that's a lot of visitors and chats there. Maybe bigger vehicle, because third house is about cars and vehicles, joyful journeys and travels around. Good news from siblings, from cousins, from relatives, neighbors, expansion of many neighbors suddenly. And if you work with PR, marketing, trading something, that could give you a lot of expansion in these areas. Aquarius, for you, it's second house of work and finances. So big work, many beautiful projects, and of course, good payment and salary, maybe growth in your finances. But as well, second house is what we spend our money for. So maybe some big expensive acquisitions, you buy something, right? Property as well. So something nice for your house. Second house is as well our body and health. So be careful here not to expand too much with eating habits. Rather, find the best eating regime, healthy diet, perhaps, exercises for your body. And very importantly, this area talks about self-esteem. And Jupiter gives you this faith, optimism. So you will trust in yourself, in your capabilities, skills, knowledge, resources. And that's how you can actually sell yourself better and gain more income. And last but not least, dear Pisces, it's your first house. Your rulers, your protectors are joining happy in your first house, from which everything starts: new life, new relationships, new work, new adventures, new travels, projects. So new possibilities for your look and health. So maybe you are now experimenting, changing your appearance, your style. Great to improve your health. Don't get it, don't let it get out of control with some eating and pleasures. Rather, really find the best suitable diet, regime, exercises for you. Everything you start now, it's blessed for success. So don't hesitate, trust yourself, forgive others. Right now, Pisces, you are like the star that shines for us, others, and we look for you as an example, for some inspiration, for some hope. So be our guiding stars, dear Pisces, and trust in miracles, because for you especially, miracles are certainly happening. So I wish you all a great springtime. See you soon.